my first match set up here. So, but I'm doing pretty good. Life ain't bad. Things are good.
Good.
We're starting to go into in Northern California. We're going to the phase 2
Yes.
of the quarantine setup, and I think there at some point will be a light at the end of the tunnel here, and we can actually maybe hang out with somebody again.
I admire your optimism. I'm an historian and studied a lot of World War One, so I'm scared to death of what we're about to do to ourselves. So
Yeah.
uh,
Well, we'll see. I mean,
yeah,
it's one of those things where if the virus isn't going anywhere,
right.
then I mean, are you prolonging the inevitable? What are you doing? You know what I mean? It's like,
Yeah,
what do you do? Do you just lock yourself in a house for a year straight and hope that the economic and famine uh, implications outweigh the chance of dying from a virus? It's like it's
right.
you got to kind of pick your poison,
Yeah, I
which
guess so.
sounds
I mean, since we're not going to
callous,
actually remake the system into something workable for humans, that's a really good point.
right?
So
And that's the thing is like, I mean, one way we just sit in our homes and wait for the people that are in charge to, you know, keep fucking the system over. It's hard to start a revolution from your fucking bedroom. You know what I mean?
yeah, no, I hear you there. I hear the bleakness of that.
So, I mean, but if just people need to just stay safe, I think, and
Yeah.
listen to the fucking scientists on this.
Yeah, not the leaders, the
Yeah,
scientists, the
the leaders aren't doing much for us. I don't think.
actual experts that aren't hired by like Winston Salem to
Right.
to do
Exactly.
cigarette ads. Yeah.
Right.
So, well, that was bleak and sad. We're here to do wrestling, and
Yeah, and comedy wrestling too, which
right.
is
I was gonna say it occurs to me we don't normally talk about wrestling in terms of comedy, but there's a lot of funny matches out there that are
a million of them.
specifically comedy matches.
Yeah.
And while some of the most compelling ones are the bloodiest and most violent, or I'm thinking like Jake the Snake and Rick Rude, where it's about Jake's wife and it's very soap opera. Some of the
Right.
best wrestlers and some of the best matches have been like what they used to call the let me up match or the funny match, and
Right.
so
Right. Something they put in right after Rick Rude and Jake Roberts
right,
to kind of cleanse the palate, make
yes,
you remember life ain't too serious.
exactly,
Uh, but at the same time, it's one of those things. I'm a big fan of matches that make you think and make you cry.
hmm
But I also love a good comedy match.
hell yeah.
I've always been a fan of it, and I've been a fan of a good comedy wrestler over the years. So,
Like who's your favorite comedy wrestler that you've seen?
man, probably ever, all time.
hmm
And this almost seems like sacrilege to say because he's such a hardcore legend, but Mick Foley, in his own way,
Yes,
became such a great comedy wrestler in some of the early 2000s,
yeah,
post Royal Rumble with Triple H, where he basically destroyed his body.
yeah,
Uh, but all the things he did with Dude Love and Rocks, This Is Your Life. I always looked forward to Mick being a little bit of comic relief. Um, but there's been a million. I always loved Norman Smiley. Uh, I'm a big fan now of Orange Cassidy in AEW, who does the way too cool gimmick where he's like hands in his pockets. He'll wrestle the entire match with his hands in his pockets. He's like, one of his things is like, don't make me care.
oh, that's
Because if
great.
he cares, then you're in real trouble. So yeah, I mean, just a fantastic gimmick.
That's
Um,
awesome.
but yeah, there's been so many over the years that I liked. I mean, to some
Huh.
degree, there's some I hated too. I hated Disco Inferno. I
Yeah.
never looked forward to seeing him. So what about you?
I respect the hell out of Norman Smiley, but and we're actually going to probably watch one of his matches tonight. But like I respect but didn't like, if that makes sense.
Right,
I think a lot of really hard wrestlers ended up turning to comedy later in their career,
right.
which I found kind of interesting. And sorry, just making sure that we're streaming. And I agree with you on Mick. I think another one to remember with that would be Roddy Piper.
Oh yeah, yeah,
Um, although he'd switched back and forth to being vicious again.
right.
But I think in many ways, some of his moves, there were just like eye pokes and stuff like that. I think who was I thinking of the other day? Johnny Valiant's brother, the Boogie Woogie Man.
Oh yeah, Jimmy.
Yeah,
Jimmy
he
yeah,
was he was good comedy. It wasn't my cup of tea, but I saw what he was trying to do. Cole Cabana
right,
does some great work. Um, that guy can go, and he's always funny.
right.
Um,
Yeah, I mean, and even some people that you'd consider like the traditional grapplers
mhm.
that had comedy elements. Like I
Yeah,
mean, the Killer Bees when they would wear masks.
yeah,
They're
yeah.
and switch it up a little bit, and they were always baby faces, but they
Yep.
were doing this classic heel move of like you can't tell which one's an illegal man,
Yeah, and it was okay because they
and
were
it would
funny.
create it was okay because they were baby faces,
Yeah,
but it would create this degree of hijinks and then there's Flair, like Flair's comedy elements in his
yep.
wrestling and his promos for sure.
Oh yeah,
um so yeah, over the years there's been so many, like I mean, one of the reasons I love pro wrestling is because it makes me laugh.
yeah,
And more than anything, I get a good chuckle out of the histrionics of pro wrestling in general. But the good comedy matches are some of my favorites.
oh definitely. I was gonna say Randy Orton with his updates on his health with the arbitrary numbers and stuff.
Yeah, it's
Um,
totally. I mean, Chris Jericho,
oh my God, yeah,
who also had so many different, like, and still does all these comedic elements to not only his promos but his ring style. So
yeah,
and still does all these comedic elements to not only his promos but his ring style. So.
yeah. So yeah, I agree. I think a good wrestler, even when Hogan was going heel, I think he brought some comedy into it.
Absolutely.
So
So
yeah.
Scott Hall, even
Oh God, yeah,
another
yeah.
guy that had great comedic elements
So
to a lot of his matches. But
yeah.
then there's like Doink and like
Oh yeah, yeah.
you know uh,
Anything Jerry Lawler did in WWE.
right,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
yeah.
Long after his throwing fire days in Memphis,
Right. Owen Hart was
for sure.
a wrestler's wrestler and a comedic wrestler toward the end.
Totally.
So yeah, there's a lot of them actually, and almost I don't want to say almost every, but a good plenty number of wrestlers either started or ended their careers with comedy.
Right, and if you look at some of the best of all time,
Yep.
almost all of them had some sort of comedic element to
Oh
them.
yeah.
You look at Flair and Hogan and The Rock,
Mm-hmm.
Stone Cold Steve Austin,
Yeah.
Mick Foley, all had some sort of, like Roddy Piper, all had some sort
Kurt
of comedic.
Angle.
And it's hard to think of a top person,
Mm-hmm.
heel or babyface, that hasn't had some sort of comedic element. So that just shows you the kind of
Yeah,
role that it plays.
that's a good point. So our first match we're going to watch is actually from August 17th, 2016. It's the Cruiserweight Classic. It's episode 6 of the Cruiserweight Classic. It's, again, August 17, 2016. And it's Akira Tozawa versus Jack Gallagher. The G is silent for some reason. And what it's what I love about it is that it's a good comedy match involves a lot of trust between both guys
Right.
and a willingness to, you're not going to be putting yourself over even if you win in a comedy match. And I think Jack Gallagher does a really good job of that. But hats off to Akira Tozawa for allowing the comedy to happen to him.
Great. So I've never seen this match.
Okay.
So and I'm a little familiar with Gallagher
Mm-hmm.
just from watching the 205 stuff,
Mm-hmm.
and I believe he also did he had a stint on the main card at some point.
He did.
And I'm completely unfamiliar with
Akira Tozawa.
Zawa.
Yeah, he's
So,
he's kind of your prototypical young boy Japanese wrestler. Decent high flyer, strong, stiff hits, and plays frustration and that fighting spirit really well.
okay, cool.
Yeah.
So Any story leading up to this, or is this just fun?
No, this is mostly just fun. Jack Gallagher does have an interview where he talks about how he's an escapologist. He's a really tiny man.
Mhm.
He's only like 5'7", 140, 170 pounds at the most. He makes Daniel Bryan look beefy.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. He's kind of, when you see him, he's very buffoonish. He calls himself an escapologist.
Okay.
And Akira Tozawa is thoroughly forgettable in a lot of ways as far as his promo goes. And
Gotcha.
yeah, he's a good, solid worker in the ring. He's a hell of a hand, as they would say.
Right.
So
Before we find a time code,
mhm.
you can donate to us
Yes,
at Johnny Taylor on Venmo or Johnny Taylor at about.me on PayPal. Again, if you want to donate, tip, pay a cover, at Johnny Taylor on Venmo and or Johnny Taylor at about.me.
definitely.
So what time code are we looking at here?
So actually, if you just go down to the jump two, and you'll
Okay.
find the third frame down there is Akira Tozawa versus Jack Gallagher, and it starts us off at 5 minutes and 43 seconds. So I've got
Okay.
it queued up to 5:43, and you
Okay.
give me a
Sounds
countdown,
great.
and I will hit play.
Okay, so we're gonna do it on one from
Okay.
five. So 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
And I've hit play.
All right, me too.
So this is at Full Sail Arena. They do a good job of making it look like a lot more than a WCW Saturday Night.
Yeah, so it's basically a studio show as
Yep.
far as the format goes.
Yep.
But yeah, they definitely. Yeah, this looks like it could be an arena show.
Yeah.
They did a good job of faking us out.
Yeah. And there's Akira Tozawa.
He's always got a good look. Looks real athletic.
Yep. He's wearing the shorts that are kind of Muay Thai.
Yeah, yeah. Wearing some shin guards.
Yep.
Be honest, it took him a minute to get up to that to that turnbuckle.
Well, that buckle looks loose too.
Yeah, that probably looked a lot smoother in his head.
Did you watch any of this tournament? Because this tournament was insanely good on some levels. On like some
I
of the matches were
will.
great.
I should check it out. I've been watching. I've been watching some graps, and I love 205 stuff. I've always loved the cruiserweights.
Oh yeah.
And I think we get kind of caught up in the fact that like it's become almost passe that people are flipping and flying all around.
Well, because those flips and flies don't actually end a match.
Right, right. So yeah, you end up seeing 20 high spots in every match.
Right.
Right. So Gallagher, who clearly must be the heel here, he just looks like a smug heel.
And he's the palest guy.
Yeah, he's almost transparent.
Yeah. He's 167. I mean, look at those tights. And he's doing the British man thing. I mean, it just.
Yeah, Gentleman Jack.
Yep.
An old classic.
He's standing sway-backed. So I think that was him against Eichner. Yep. You see some of his, standard high flyer type stuff. So he's got a lot of shellac in his hair.
Yeah, he's a little drier.
Yeah.
For this one.
So I like matches like this. Again, he's doing just I've got a book about World War I and what it does to the concept of masculinity, and they had the soldier standing at attention in front of like an up and down bar, and his posture is exactly like one of those pictures from like 1914.
Yeah, he looks like he walks around like a soldier almost.
Yeah, he looks like he should be blowing the whistle at the battle of the Somme.
Yeah, for sure.
So here they go locking up. Two island imperial nations represented here.
There you go. The Imperial Nations chain wrestling.
That's right.
Start us off.
Yeah. There might actually be something to that culturally.
Yeah.
Standing switch. And this is Gallagher's thing, is that he's an escapologist. And you see he licked his hands so that he could get under.
There he goes. Okay.
And look how calm he is. And he keeps playing calm really well, and Tozawa gives him a lot in terms of frustration. Like he's very much the frustration. And again, there's Gallagher just peeling apart a move.
Yeah. Okay. So that's almost like part of his gimmick is that he really does use the escapology.
Yeah. And look at how calm and chill he is.
Yeah. I always loved moves like this because the guy could clearly just start beating the guy's leg
Yeah.
to try to get out, but never occurs to him.
Right. So there he is having, and again, the trust that takes, the give that takes. But,
Right.
he's an arrogant heel, and he can't be touched.
Yeah. So Tozawa now, okay, going for a little test of strength here, a little old school move, but flips the scrish, gets him in a wrist lock.
Yep.
So Gallagher here, real fluid in his movements.
Very. And he keeps getting himself into trouble.
Right.
And then he gets out of it even more fluidly.
And these are all just underhand tosses to show Gallagher's escapology.
Right.
And very nice.
Look at that.
Goes into a handstand. Does a little Scott Hall sweat.
Yep.
No sweat motion.
You ain't shit. And then they're going back to the test of strength. And, a lot of these moves you see with other guys, but they don't do them with...
This is...
This is just the best.
Like, he tied himself. So, Tozawa, you got to give Tozawa some credit.
Oh, God, yeah.
For just taking this... taking him getting tied up with his own limbs.
Yeah, he got pretzeled, and he can't see that Gallagher is nowhere near him.
Yeah, which is hilarious.
He's screaming in pain because he has been pretzeled with all four limbs. And now...
I was going to kick him in the ass.
Yeah. I like how the ref is saying, no, don't do that. It's like,
yeah, please don't kick him in the ass.
How is that illegal?
Yeah, there's nothing illegal about that.
And now he's doing the Daniel Bryan running knee to the ass, basically.
Yeah, gives him a good boot in the ass.
And the announcers are asking if that's legal. It's like, yeah, that's...
And so is Tozawa is the babyface here, right?
I guess so. But because, how can you not cheer for Gallagher after that?
Right. I mean, that probably stills any kind of babyface.
Oh, yeah.
Very okay. Tozawa getting a little comeback stretch here
with a leg lariat too. And Tozawa is known as Mr. Stamina, by the way. He can go, and I think some of that is due to the fact that he shows the exhaustion on his face so well and keeps going.
Right. So it's tricking him to think I'm so tired, but I can keep going.
Right. I've done that a few times on a cold evening.
Yeah, I think a lot of us have. In some cases, you're actually just tired, though.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm just like, actually, can I tap? So Tozawa, you're right about Tozawa. It looks like a good worker, but fairly unmemorable.
Yeah.
Works stiff though.
Yeah, he does. Standing senton
with a stiff big boot earlier. Looked like it really hurt.
Yeah.
That's a little back plancha there.
He's the most boring guy with the most unique moveset, is what I'm
saying. Yeah. Yeah, he's got moves and can clearly work, but
had those knife edge chops on skin like Gallagher's.
Yeah, I love them. You really show up.
Yeah, like real quick. And then, so he gets Gallagher to cover up on a chop. Gallagher covers up, and then Tozawa just hits him with a left hook, or a right hook rather, and knocks him flat. So you get a face bump. So.
The old face bump.
Yep.
So beautiful transition move there to almost what looked like a monkey flip, but.
Mm-hmm. But he went under his legs instead of over him.
Yeah, it was very
interesting. Came around and twisted his legs to toss him.
Kind of a twisting monkey kick there, monkey flip.
And going after the outside of the leg, doing a little Bret Hart action, honestly, working that leg.
Yeah.
And then, and here's what he does.
All right.
Yeah.
Little step over toe hold.
Yeah. Bit of a reverse too. And this way he's able to sell the punch that he took, but also he's in full control here.
Right.
And now he's nowhere near as calm. He's a little angrier because of that shot that he took to the face. Which, again, good storytelling on both their parts. But, you know, it all started with a lot of comedy. And now he's
Right.
back to being funny. He's
Yeah.
bridging over and,
Bridge. It's like he's still selling the punch.
yeah, his jaw is still
even in the
jacked.
bridge.
Tozawa also has a mouthpiece in there, too, which is starting to get more common with wrestlers.
Yeah, you lose enough teeth, I think.
Yeah. You remember
start
when
wanting to
Cesaro
switch
lost
it.
his teeth?
Huh?
Did you see that match where Cesaro lost his teeth a few years back?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, Flair's lost a front tooth
Yep.
in a match. Yeah, I mean, it's more common than you think.
Yeah. And you just
And
keep on
also
going.
less common than you think. You think these guys flying around all over the place. They
Right?
lose a tooth every match.
Yeah. And he's working the leg, same leg, keeping it on the mat, too.
Yeah, and I mean, for comedy elements, there's definitely a lot of comedic elements here, but this is a very methodical, technical match, especially for cruiserweights.
Yeah. And then instead of going for the bow and arrow, he just stomps through his hammies and smashes his knees into the match.
That looks like it doesn't feel nice.
No, I'm not a fan of having that happen to me. I love this move. This is kind of like the calf crusher, but
Oh yeah.
But it's like a half a Texas cloverleaf. I'm not.
Yeah, I wonder if Malenko had anything to do with.
Maybe.
I know he was working as a road agent for these 205 shows for a while.
Oh, was he? God, that guy's the perfect guy for it.
Yeah, he really is. One of the most underrated wrestlers of all time, in my opinion.
Yeah, one of the most highly skilled who never made it to that upper echelon. Like,
could not work the stick a lick.
Yeah.
It's the big problem.
Ooh, a knee to the hammies. That cannot feel good. And then we go for a suplex reversed, and then into another. What we got? Escape out the back. Irish whip into a boot to the head.
So you gotta give Tozawa credit here. The whole time he's selling the shit out of that. That leg.
And Gallagher's still going with the jaw. Like, that is the biggest problem for him, is the jaw. Also, notice Gallagher has no knee pads and no elbow pads. Like, he's really stripped down, which
and that kind of goes with like the look that he's going for. He looks like almost like an old timey strong man.
Yes.
From like the 50s.
He should be picking up trapezoids.
He looks like a Charles Schultz ad, like the before picture.
Yeah. The guy who got sand kicked in his face.
Right.
Yeah. And now he's got Tozawa in some sort of, again, another leg lock. I got to try these on my kids. I don't know if they work.
Yeah. When I used to babysit my nieces and nephews, I would always get them in wrestling moves.
Nice.
Put a figure 4 on my nephew, Gary, plenty of times over the years.
That shit hurts. Turns out reversing it does not put the pressure back on.
There's nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah. So. If anything, it's just still going to hurt the other guy.
Yeah.
So this is so they're giving them some time to kind of build a storyline here.
Yeah, they are.
They're doing a good job. I think again, you really can't take your eyes off Gallagher.
No.
In spite of what Tozawa is bringing, which is a lot, you know.
Mm-hmm. Some of it's because Gallagher is so pale. Like, I think it's kind of like, I love that. The Irish whip, when a guy is so badly messed up, you do an Irish, you do the Irish whip, or you launch him into the ropes, and he just collapses because his knee is damaged.
Right, yeah, excellent sell there.
Yeah. Really good
Little
storytelling.
things like that, they mean so much in like the story of the match.
Yep. Ooh, look at that. He missed with an enziguri and snuck through Gallagher's legs.
Vicious
headbutt. There's the giant headbutt to the chest. And he only got a 2-shot. And I like that because that's his finishing move very often, but he stayed away from it just a little too long.
Right.
So it allows... Oh, God, look at that.
Ooh, roll up.
Yeah. Went for a figure 4, but with only one leg. And then slammed back.
A snap German suplex by Tozawa.
Really, we really are hitting all the expansive empires in this episode.
Right.
So
Yeah, it's very true.
so, and now he's going for he's just picking him straight up.
Yeah, picking him up, just basically deadlifting him.
Yep. And now I love it because that's actually something that Tozawa is known for. And Gallagher uses that, but then he goes and grabs his leg. He like leans down, grabs his leg to try to block it. It ends up coming over, and Tozawa is bridging, and he is acting like his knee has just snapped.
Did he get the 3 count there?
No.
Okay, so they're still going.
Yeah.
Gallagher's still selling the living shit out of
Yep.
the suplex.
Actually, did he get the 3 count?
I think he got the 3. So Tozawa actually gets put over there.
Oh.
That's surprising to me.
Oh, okay, yeah, that's. So now they're showing a few replays about how he took out Tozawa's knee. Which, yeah, if Tozawa got the pin, they didn't say. If Tozawa gets the pin, then this is a wonderful story going forward. And Gallagher looked incredibly strong.
Like, yeah. Nobody ends up looking weak.
Right.
Probably does more for Tozawa to get the win than Gallagher, who is that snap German suplex was just vicious.
Here it is. So he goes for the German suplex bridge and kind of hurts.
Yeah, that looks great.
Yeah, that is a 3 count. Yeah.
Can't get out of this. So is that his finisher, that German suplex?
He does a lot of snap bridge German suplexes, but I don't remember. I think he does another leg move too. And that's a thing that I miss. I miss that guys would win without their finishers.
Right.
So that their finisher would be something.
Yeah. Oh wow, he got the win on the roll up.
Yeah. So.
I've always liked that.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, this was a really cool tournament. It was a really, really good tournament. A lot of great wrestling. They brought back some good names, and they did a really good job. So, what was funny about that match?
Well, I mean, I think Gallagher in general just.
I lost your audio, Johnny.
Oh, can you hear me?
Oh, now we got you. So, what was funny about that match?
So I think it's funny just the truly using the kind of escapology, and him licking his hands. At one point kind of trying to like grease up his legs a little bit to get out of stuff.
Yep.
But for a comedy match, I thought it was really well worked.
Yeah.
Not much in the way of botching. Good story.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing that's going to kind of knock your socks off here. But for a guy that is kind of like got a comedic gimmick and a guy that is kind of a forgettable 205er, I thought it was great. I thought they both looked good. Yeah. I would give that a solid 2.5 stars, 3-star match.
I'd put it at 3.5, and here's why. It was a comedy match, but at the same time, both men looked credible. It really made Gallagher look credible despite how funny it all was, and it made Tozawa seem believable as a winner despite the fact that he was getting punked out the entire time. So
right.
I put it at 3.5 for that.
Yeah, and Tozawa's got like this this kind of stoic, but him really kind of showing kind of some frustration on his face.
Yes.
Real solid match.
Yeah. All right, so our next one is from Uncensored 2000. It is, I'm pulling it up right now, it is one of the worst pay-per-views ever.
Any 2000 era pay-per-view for the WCW brand is generally speaking not gonna knock your socks off.
It's garbage. And if you look, so what I want you to do is when you get there, just scroll through the Jump To slides, and you see how many things are not matches. Just for a second, right? You got a match to start, and then there's an interview, and then a match, and then a backstage, and then another backstage, and then finally a match, and then an interview, and then a match, and then
it's like Billy Kidman apologizes to Booker T.
Yeah, like why is that a thing? Like
David Flair tells Daphne to stay backstage.
right. It just like
Right before we
that's
go
how
to
bad it is.
Bam Bam Bigelow versus The Wall. Yikes.
Yeah. Yeah. The wall. The diet version of Diesel. And you have the same trajectory too, just much flatter here, where Diesel comes in to be a bodyguard for somebody who's supposed to be really, really good, and then ends up outshining him. With Diesel, it was Shawn Michaels, but with the Wall, it was Berlin. So
Right, so we're going with
XS
XS versus the Kiss
Demon.
Demon.
Yeah, and Norman Smiley.
Versus Norman Smiley.
I had the WCW Mayhem game
Uh-huh.
for the PlayStation, and they put that into, you could play Norman Smiley, and they put that into, they're like, Norman Smiley and it's just to hear Tony
Someone
Schiavone
tells me
saying
we're
it.
going to see a big wiggle on this.
Yeah, I'm hoping. So I'm gonna hit jump 2, and that will get us to where we need to be.
Looks like we're at 15:39. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it seems to be. Yes. So, tell you what, you give me the countdown, and I will hit play.
Okay, before we count down, I do want to say if you're enjoying what you're seeing, you can donate.
Yes. And if you donate, that will bring back our audio quicker, because we just lost Johnny telling us where to donate. So if you could donate, that will help us keep the lights on and keep the sound
And do a
going.
countdown from 5, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
There it is. All right. So I forget exactly who's announcing, but it just gets worse. Like there's like a turning point for Tony Schiavone, where he was good, and then he would just undo everything other people said. So here you got
They had like Mark
XS.
Madden at one point.
Yep. So here's a guy named XS, and that's Lodi?
That's Lodi.
Lodi, yeah.
So XS used to be a guy named Lenny Lane.
Yes.
Who I would always say, oh, look, it's Lenny Lame.
Yes.
Lenny Lane and Lodi, famous for the West Hollywood Blondes.
That's right.
Gimmick.
That's right.
They had a tag team that was kayfabe homosexual.
Yeah. Right, and really doing it for all the wrong reasons too. Cause
yeah, it was classic. Just using a stereotype in all the wrong ways.
Oh yeah, because he'd come out with his lollipop too, and just really, like, just not just sissy it up. Like he wasn't just like Adrian Adonis. He was just full blown. I want to full blown this guy.
Right. It was embarrassingly bad. Like a lot of things from the 2000 era of WCW.
Exactly. So here's Miss Hancock, who's later known as Stacy Keibler.
Yep.
Who had previously been known as Sky. And just to show you how bad it got in WCW, like, this should be a match right now, and we're watching somebody who doesn't speak well on the mic at all come out, and let's see, who is that? That is Mark Madden.
Mark Madden.
Yep. I saw Tony Schiavone, and I bet you it's Scott Hudson.
Let's see.
Yeah.
Let Lodi work the stick on your pay-per-view. Never
right.
The smartest move, I don't think.
They asked, Mark Madden actually asked if she wanted to sit on his hard lap. Like, that's the level of intelligence that they've got going on their announcing team now. Now, this is during the Russo era, if I recall correctly.
I love how, is there even a seat?
Oh yeah, there is, but she's got legs.
And she knows how to use them.
Right.
Stacy Keibler went on to date George Clooney.
Yeah.
At one point.
That's weird. Especially since, like, the person after he dated her is a Pulitzer Prize winning attorney, to the point where, or not attorney, but writer. Like, she's so goddamn impressive that, like, he is now known as her husband. And by the way, this is the Kiss Demon.
Kiss Demon, famous for being one of the worst ideas of all time.
And this,
I would love to have an opportunity to talk to Eric Bischoff about this.
Oh, that'd be good. Ask him what the worst idea was, because like here you've got the Kiss Demon with another Kiss Demon,
Okay, we got two Kiss Demons.
and really it's because the other Kiss Demon is Norman Smiley.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, that is actually kind of funny. The demonic wiggle.
Demonic wiggle in full effect.
Yep. Now, Norman Smiley had a hell of a career in Mexico as Black Magic, and he was a vicious wrestler, and he was a solid wrestler.
Norman Smiley's a hell of a worker, anyways.
Yep.
And what he's done in NXT, I mean, and originally for Florida Championship Wrestling.
Yeah.
And later for NXT.
Absolutely.
He's helped develop the next generation of W stars, really.
Oh yeah, yeah. You get guys like him and Fit Finley and Dean Malenko, and if Chris Kanyon had still been alive, like it would what an addition he would have been. But yeah, this is just Jesus Christ, like there's nothing good about.
Yeah, this just seems like booking by numbers here.
Yeah.
Where you're like, okay, try to get enough people on a payday on a pay-per-view.
Yeah, in a bit, yeah. Which is funny because they filled up the pay-per-view with a bunch of backstage segments too. So Kiss Demon actually getting some offense in. Norman tried to teach him how to do the big wiggle, and he was doing something else. They got attacked. Kiss Demon turned it into a suplex with a pinning attempt. And now Lodi and Lenny have, XS.
What were some of the other gimmicks here for the Kiss Demon? Did he? Where did he come from?
I want to say he's Jeff Farmer, which makes him fake Sting, but that might just be me wanting. There's Norman with the big butt wiggle.
That was like the butt thrust.
There it is.
There it is. The big wiggle. He got it in.
Yep.
Real early.
Yeah. Lenny went for some sort of weird takedown, and Norman grabbed him and spanked him and moved him.
Yeah, Lenny Lane taking just a terrible botchy-looking bump there.
Oh, very. So, and again, Norman actually having decent offense, but he's doing the chicken shit heel thing. All right. So, Kiss Demon was actually a guy named Dale Torberg.
Okay, I think his dad might have played Major League Baseball.
Yeah, actually, he ends up being a baseball coach, I think, nowadays. Let's see, I'm trying to find who else he wrestled as, and I can't find anything.
WCW had thoughts of Lenny Lane as being like the next Chris Jericho.
Aesthetically, they looked exactly the same. And
they really thought that they had a chance with him to pop a new star.
Yep.
And that did not work.
No.
Probably because Chris Jericho has more talent in his thumb now.
Yeah. Oh God. Talk about a guy who's only gotten better.
Yeah. Aesthetically, they look very similar.
Yep.
Similar moveset. Lenny Lane even sells like Chris Jericho.
Oh, he does. He absolutely does. He's not a bad wrestler on his own. If he was left to his own devices, he might make something of it. So
yeah, I wonder whatever happened to him.
I don't remember. I think he probably ended up in TNA at some point. But here's the Kiss Demon again, saddled with a terrible gimmick, and then you've got every 5 seconds Norman Smiley just doing all the wiggle stuff that he can.
Oh man, multiple butt thrusts.
Yes.
That move right there, the kind of swinging body slam.
Yep.
Oh, look at Norman's got the 10 people in attendance going crazy.
He really does. That's the weirdest part. Like, this sold. Like, people looked forward to Norman on a match, which, again, if it's comedy, that makes sense. And Norman absolutely moved with the comedy. Unfortunately, his entire legacy is getting the big wiggle over.
In an era of WCW where they were probably desperately seeking any baby faces that could get over.
Yeah.
Norman was one of them.
That's and the way he got over is the worst. Look at this. Like every chance he gets. I mean, he's got him in a good submission hold, and finally blissfully ends the match.
Wow. They gave them straight up 4 minutes.
Yeah. And that's like 3.5 too long.
Yeah.
It really.
And Norman honestly got everything in.
He really did.
Norman got his stuff in like 3 times.
Yeah, he did.
His team was upset that Norman got the pin.
Yeah. It's.
That's not being a good teammate.
No. But good Lord, what hot garbage.
Is Miss Hancock, is she supposed to be like their manager?
No, she came out because she used to be part of Standards and Practices, and then she stopped being part of Standards and Practices, and then she kept coming out looking like that, and then she would just like do a leggy dance for 30 seconds on the table, and
This demon really playing up the Gene Simmons character here. As he drags a woman against her will back to the back to the ring.
Ace Frehley's got to just be
really
sitting there
living
going,
the gimmick.
Yeah, some people live their gimmick, Makes you wish that he pretended to be a Russian or something. Again.
Oh, wow, she's going to give Norman the big wiggle.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
This is,
Norman likes Norman normalizing tagging way earlier than I think anybody. WCW is actually way more progressive than I thought.
Yeah, I mean, he's way more, he's way more forward thinking than other wrestlers.
Who knew?
So yeah, so if you're gonna give that one a star,
oh my God, how can you?
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, I would give it maybe a half of a star or 1 star.
Okay.
Just because I find Norman entertaining.
Yeah.
But man, that was a real piece of shit match.
It really was. There were a lot of comedy elements in it, but I don't think it worked so well. Even as
yeah, almost nothing worked on that match.
Yeah.
And Lenny and Lodi literally got nothing in.
Yeah. Like
they didn't get anything in.
You're right. They
had
spot. No good moves. No like, oh, okay, they're doing something, and nobody was taken seriously in that match.
If you're still watching, you have David Flair, who is talentless.
Mm-hmm.
Looks like he's reprimanding Daphne, who's with Crowbar. Daphne, who ended up being a hell of a worker herself.
Yes.
And a good gimmick. I like Daphne's gimmick in WCW.
I do too. I could have done without the screaming part, but like her physicality.
Oh yeah, she did scream all the time.
She had that, and I remember the manager for M&M, was that Melina?
Melina.
Yeah, she started doing screaming. I can't. Doing it for its own sake. Just it bothered me. Like.
Yeah, Melina, who is now in NWA.
Oh, that's right.
She was their champion for a minute.
Oh wow.
All
right, so that's where it can go very badly. Do you want to see where it can go absolutely wonderfully?
Yeah, we got one more. We can do one more.
All right, let's do. Let me pull this one up. Oh, I lost it. I'm looking. What I want you to do is do a search for. Let's see. Do a search for the Heartthrobs.
The Heartthrobs.
Mm-hmm. Okay. A thoroughly forgettable team from the early 2000s.
Okay. Let's look here.
And it's going to be the Heartthrobs versus Kane and the Big Show. And I just got to find the actual date of it. It's on October 31st on a Raw match. I had it queued up, and then it went away, and I don't know why. Oh, here it is. Okay, so here it is. October 31st, 2005.
All right, October 31st, 2005.
Yeah, and this is a Raw match. And this is when Chris Jericho was doing the bidding of Eric Bischoff quite often.
Okay.
So Bischoff was a solid heel general manager. He had not yet been kicked out.
And who are they going against?
The Heartthrobs are going against Kane and the Big Show.
All right.
Yeah.
And
It's at 1 hour and 1 minute in, actually.
Halloween night,
Yep.
2005.
Yeah.
And what's the time code on this one, Damian?
1 hour, 1 minute.
1 hour, 1 minute. Okay.
Yeah. And while people are queuing that up, Johnny, how can they pay us for all this wonderful commentary?
If you want to donate, pay a cover, tip us. You can Venmo at Johnny Taylor or PayPal Johnny Taylor at about.me.
Mm-hmm.
Again, Venmo at Johnny Taylor or PayPal Johnny Taylor at about.me. And let's go ahead and get into this. So we'll do a countdown from 5.
All right.
Again, time code is 1 hour, 1 minute on October 31st, 2005's Raw. And 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
All right. So it is Halloween. So you see, she is Lillian Garcia is the Queen of Hearts, and the Heartthrobs do the classic heel move of taking away the mic.
All right.
They are Batman and Batman. And it looks like they just took 2 T-shirts and cut them up and turned them into cowls, which good for them for doing it inexpensively. But yeah, the Heartthrobs were essentially a forgettable tag team who were just used to get people over, quite honestly. And there's a lot of matches where these guys, I mean, they look great, but these guys are used to just put over big people. So here's the Big Show wearing the singlet. This is before his head got shaved. Probably way too long to wait, but that's okay.
Big Show's looking beefy.
Yeah. Yeah, he's a big old hoss, isn't he?
Yeah, Big Show and Kane is in incredible shape here.
Yep. So what's your timestamp at, Johnny?
I am at 1:02:37.
Okay.
You want to get there and recount down?
Yeah, let me. So I'm at 1:02:40, 41. Where do you want me to pause it?
Pause it right now.
All right.
And then I'm going to hit play and then count to 3 and we'll go.
Okay. Well, I'm at 1:02:46.
Okay. I'm going to tell you when to press play.
All right, cool.
And now.
There we go. Yeah, this is when I liked Kane the most. I thought he looked the toughest. He had that weird-ass haircut that stopped right up here, which made him look kind of crazy.
No mask for Kane at this time.
Yeah, a menacing heel. So this is I think it's a Texas Tornado match, which means anybody can be. Oh, there you go. Their guys' names are Romeo and Antonio, the Heartthrobs.
Okay, perfect.
So.
Oh wow! Yeah. Big Show literally picked one of those Heartthrob guys out by his head with just one hand.
Oh yeah.
Oh, that's amazing.
I've used this match to explain imperialism in the 1800s, actually.
Oh wow.
Yeah. So. You can see Big Show and Kane being Europe, and these two guys being the rest of the world. So
right.
Kane hits his Heartthrob with snake eyes. Big Show says, "Okay, I can do the same," and goes from even higher.
Oh yeah, Big Show doing a Kenny top this.
Mm-hmm.
Kenny's like, "I see what you're doing, Show."
Yep. And now here comes Show, just avalanche. As like he shrugs, it's nothing, and then big old clothesline.
Oh, that one is.
Yeah.
I mean, Kane really gave that one to.
Yeah.
You know, Kane, what a worker he was.
Oh my God, yeah.
2000 to 2007.
Oh yeah, he did such good menace.
Yeah, just super powerful, super strong, also criminally underrated athletically.
Yep. And here's Show again, all 540 pounds. Kane's even saying, "Whoa."
Yeah,
the whole crowd is into this.
A big dude. And, Show's on the second rope here, but it's going down near the first rope.
Yeah,
so.
And then big old superplex. And Kane's look on his face.
Kane
literally says, "Watch this," and Show just dragging his ragdoll of a guy around. Big old boot.
Oh yeah, that's a good one. These Heartthrobs are just getting the shit kicked out of them.
Yes, they are. God, look at Kane's hair. It looks so crazy. that was one of those little details I loved. And then Kane with the big old
Top rope.
Yep.
Ooh,
And then I love this. He knocks the heartthrob to the ground and shows like, you just hit my guy.
so that's my toy.
Yeah. It's just like, all right, I'll go get him again. So I've always loved this match. And then Show doing what only Show can do.
Yeah, press slam right over the top rope.
Yeah.
Show's so big, he actually looks gassed.
What I love here, I don't know if you could read Show's lips, but he said, let's just get this shit over with. And they
Hilarious.
both go for dueling choke slams.
Okay, so we got the choke slam concerto.
Mm-hmm.
Show's got his guy a little better than Kane did.
Yep.
And then
and the match is over.
The double count from the ref just
Yes.
to add some emphasis.
And that was 5 minutes, 5.5.
Yeah, I mean that in comparison to
Exactly.
the Norman Smiley Kiss Demon XS match, that was tremendous.
Yeah. And just on its own, it told a story. Here's two guys that are paired up that don't particularly like each other, wanting to show who's got the bigger dick.
Right. Yeah, it was a little game of can you top this?
Yep.
And which personally I think works great in a kind of a squash environment.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what happened to either one of those heartthrobs guys.
Nothing. Like they
just drifted off into the distance.
Yeah. So
that's it. Comedy matches.
Yeah, comedy match. So what would you give that if you were going to give it stars?
I would give it, you know what, just for it being what it was, 3 stars.
Yeah, I would agree. I would say 2.5 to 3 stars. It told a story. It advanced those guys' storylines. The heartthrob sold incredibly well.
Right.
You know, and it really was. It was a squash match as it was supposed to be, and it 100% got everybody over that it was supposed to.
Right. And, you know, the heartthrobs are just cannon fodder in that one, which, you know, that's what it was.
Yeah. It kind of reminded me of kind of the Superstars matches from the 80s.
Right. Yeah, it was definitely a squash match. But, you know, I mean, Show and Kane even kind of showboating a little bit. You didn't get a lot of that in those old Superstars matches. So,
that's true.
You know, it was a good version of like what kind of a modern squash match should be. Yep. And honestly, I wish they would use you know, jobbers or you know, developmental talent a little bit more on those kind of roles.
Oh yeah,
because I think when done properly, it really does help get a guy that you're trying to make look like a monster over.
Absolutely, absolutely. I agree. And you know, I remember Arn Anderson getting yelled at for making jobbers look good, and same with Jake Roberts. Like, what are you doing? You're supposed to get over. You're not supposed to have a good match. Like, save the good matches for later.
And you brought up two people that had a hell of a showdown on AEW last week. I don't know if you caught Jake Roberts and Arn Anderson yapping at each other.
Oh, wow. That's pretty cool. You cut out. Dadgummit. Sacramento Internet. I know it's not the West Sac version. Johnny, I got no audio on you. Oh, we got you reconnecting to the audio. There you are, Johnny.
Damian, I had to switch to my phone. My computer just died right in the middle.
Okay.
So I'm on my phone. But if you have a chance, go to YouTube and watch that Arn Anderson, Jake Roberts.
Will do.
Awful. It is definitely it's definitely worth checking out.
Nice. So, all right. So that's comedy matches. They clearly have a place. They can still show menace. They can still show that people are viable, and good wrestlers. Very often, somebody has to give for someone else to get. But I think they've got a really important place in wrestling. And I think they also are one of those really long-lasting kind of formats for a match. You can pull that out on any card and put it in the right spot, and it'll really help enhance that card.
I totally agree, and I hate to keep harping on this, but that is what AEW is doing that the WWE has not been doing.
Nice.
You watch an AEW show, any of them, whether pay per view or whether if it's a Dynamite or even their Dark Match series, that's free on YouTube. You can literally watch a couple hours of AEW programming.
Wow.
And NWA also before the quarantine struck. We're really doing great comedy stuff in a meaningful way to help people get over. And I think the WWE has just kind of lost their way in that kind of go in that direction. So.
You know what? In light of that, why don't you suggest for us sometime during the week either an AEW or an NWA match and show me that?
I sure will. We will watch. Maybe we'll watch one of each.
That'd be great.
Next week, an NWA match from kind of the modern Billy Corgan era, and an AEW match. So
that sounds great. That's awesome.
Cool. Sounds good.
All right, so everybody out there in the internet, if you want to give us money for the work that we're doing here, where can they give it, Johnny?
Venmo at Johnny Taylor or PayPal Johnny Taylor at about.me. Again, if you feel like tipping, at Venmo at Johnny Taylor, and PayPal would be Johnny Taylor at about.me.
There you go. I'm going to do my best Sabu imitation.
All right, there you go. And I will just say this. Peace.
All right. See y'all.